Welcome down the rabbit hole, friends. I'm sitting in my living room getting ready to watch Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 2. But before I get into all of that, I love to go scrolling on my phone and checking out some of my favorite content creators to see what they are saying about Sister Wives and everything that's going down with the Brown family, because that's where you get the real information, not from the TV show.
Benjamin here to answer your questions about Mormon polygamy. Today's question: how did your grandfather get welcomed into the AUB from LDS?
Many of you are aware that I'm a big fan of Moroni Jessup, who goes by Punk Rock Polygamist on TikTok, and he frequently makes short TikToks discussing things that are going on with the Brown family, the AUB, as well as stuff that goes on in his own life. He's such an interesting soul to watch. I love how on his videos he's always going on walks and he kind of shows you the terrain. That's something I enjoy seeing as well. But another person that I love listening to on TikTok is the Fresh King Benjamin, or Benjamin Brown, Kody Brown's nephew.
A little bit of background first. Most of my family on both sides of my line have been Mormon for about 200 years. They joined the cult at the very beginning, have been die-hard supporters ever since.
I've spoken about him before in some of my videos, but tonight I found an interesting TikTok in which I think Benjamin really spells it out for us. What is the psychology behind the religious doctrine, the religious reasons why Kody basically feels like it's fine for him to favor Robin, for him to hold a belief that Robin is truly his soulmate, and that there's probably only one soulmate for him, and the other wives are just kind of rotating around on the periphery. So let's listen to what Benjamin Brown, Kody's nephew, has to say.
Which basically means that in every polygamous family, there's essentially one wife who is kind of the original wife, right? The core kind of soulmate of the man. And then the other wives are sort of leftovers.
Okay, so get this. Benjamin Brown is letting us know that there's actually a doctrine within the AUB that explains that one wife out of all the wives will literally be the man's soulmate. And the rest of the wives were with other men. They were the wives of other men who have been left behind and never born down on earth. So this man, Kody Brown, for example, needs to collect these wives and take them back with him up to heaven. But he will essentially only have one wife that was forever meant to be his soulmate. It's literally written in the doctrine, at least how Benjamin Brown was taught the doctrine.
Numbers work out. And what I was taught is that the way that polygamy works is that way back in the pre-existence, which is basically what happened before we all came to earth, we lived before, right? We were spirit babies in heaven, and we needed to come to earth to get bodies. That's why this whole thing is happening. But way back then, when we were getting ready to do this, God presented a plan, and some people didn't like that plan. Specifically, Satan. Satan rebelled, and he got a whole bunch of other people, a whole bunch of other spirit babies, in fact, a third of them, to rebel with him. And what I was taught was that all of those people who rebelled, all of those spirits who rebelled, were all men. Because before this rebellion happened, there was kind of parity in the genders. There was an equal number of women, and there were an equal number of men spirit babies. And so everyone had a soulmate, right? You had the kind of this eternal bond with this one person. But when the rebellion happened and all of these men followed Satan, they got cast down to earth as demons without getting the opportunity to have bodies. And that meant that their women up in heaven didn't get to have someone to get married to, right? Their eternal companion had been lost. But don't worry, God had a plan. He invented polygamy. And so some of the more righteous members of the people who stayed, the righteous men, they covenanted with these women who had been left behind. They were like, don't worry, you can join our families and we'll find you on earth and you'll be part of our families. That way you'll get to, still have all of the blessings of marriage and exaltation. Which basically means that in every polygamous family, there's essentially one wife who is kind of the original wife, right? The core kind of soulmate of the man. And then the other wives are sort of leftovers, which could be a reason why in polygamy you often see a favorite wife issue. Because in the man's head, he's thinking, oh, this is the one that I was originally created with, and then these others are just kind of the ones that I picked up because their husbands were wicked. The basis of this belief actually comes from a vision or dream that an early Mormon had. His name was Mosiah Hancock, and he had the Mosiah Hancock vision or dream. You can Google it and read it, but that's where a lot of these beliefs come from, and they're pretty powerful within Mormonism and especially within Mormon polygamy. And like I said, I don't know that everyone believes that or that's the reason why everyone thinks it, but that's what I was raised.
And is this why Christine is always going on and on about how, yeah, I guess Kody, like, he just found his soulmate. He found his soulmate. And all the kids say it too. It's like, it's really written into their language, into their culture, that there would be one soulmate for Kody. And that soulmate is Kody Rapid Brown.